And here is Bob the Builder presenting Satograms. Give it up for Bob.
Mic check, mic check. Good. All right, who here's heard of Satograms? That's actually way more than I thought. Great. All right, I'm Bob. This is Satograms. I'm going to try to speed run this. I thought I had 30 minutes. I've got 15. I'm already getting scammed. Look at this. All right. At its basic core, Satograms are lightning payments with a message attached to it. So you take an old-fashioned telegram message, right? You go to Western Union, you send them to some targeted person. You take the modern version of that, which is a lightning payment, and you attach a message to it. You get the word Satogram, okay? In the modern day, let's look at how we're sending messages with value currently. And you look at this, and this is my spam box, my email, and you go, there's no value there. I'm getting no value out of that. Well, actually, Adam Back applied Hashcash to this, right? So there's a little bit of proof of work going into every piece of spam mail that goes out. You're not getting paid directly for it, unfortunately, but without it, spam mail would be tremendously worse. Let's look at Venmo, right? Value transfer to somebody, I add a memo. It's very familiar for everybody. What's great about it is I can push payments, and I can also request payments from people. And also note that at the top, right, Paul has a unique identifier, so I know how to find him and push payments directly to him. Very similar with Cash App, right? You've got a cash tag, 1mama0 for Cynthia here, and I can very easily push money with a pay button or basically send her an invoice equivalent by doing a request. Well, what does that look like in Lightning today, right? The traditional payment flow is with invoices. And so what does that look like? Well, I make an invoice, it generates a QR code, I then give it to the person who's going to pay it, they scan it, they pay it. It's kind of clunky UX. So it's not exactly pushing a payment. A little improvement on that is Lightning addresses done with LNURL. And it kind of fixes this problem in the sense that I don't need to give someone an invoice directly. I can just verbally tell them, hey, my handle is alice@zebedee.gg. And with that, they can use a protocol or a wallet that's implemented that to pay me directly. Under the hood, it's still using a Lightning invoice, but it abstracts it away a little bit. It gives me a kind of a way to push payments to people. And many wallets have implemented and given users Lightning addresses, and this has taken off because it's pretty good UX. A third way to do Lightning payments is with key sends. Key sends are great. It's an actual pushing a payment, but it only works directly to nodes. So what you need is a node pub key. So you go somewhere like Amboss with what node you want to pay. You look them up by alias, you copy their pub key, maybe you got to use a wallet, maybe you have to use LNCLI. It's still a little clunky, just like all of Lightning is, but I can directly push a payment. So quick reviewer, 3 ways we do Lightning payments. 2 of them are great. We can do push payments with Lightning addresses. We can do push payments with key sends. With traditional invoices, right, we've got that clunky UX workflow of scanning the QR code and the invoice being passed back and forth. Okay. So if I want to use Lightning addresses and I want to do these push payments with key sends, I need a whole list of node pub keys and I need a big list of Lightning addresses. Where am I going to get these? These aren't necessarily in some central repository presented to me. Well, you can ask your node actually, because your node, your Lightning node, has a view of tons of other nodes on the network, right? It has a view of the channel graph. So you can run a command, for example, get network info using LNCLI, and you can see, hey, my node sees 24,000 other nodes on the network. I can use another command called describe graph, which will actually tell me every channel on the network and which peers it's between. So using this, I can aggregate a list of every node pub key on the network. And then with that, I can go further and check, do every one of these nodes accept key send payments? So now I've created a list of a bunch of nodes. Let's talk Lightning addresses, because where are we going to find these? My node doesn't know about every Lightning address on the network. Well, neither does the Lightning address website. There's no central repository for this. However, Nostr is a place where people share their Lightning addresses, right? For example, here's my profile page. People feature their Lightning address. Mine is bob@vlt.ge. People share them. I can set up with a relay and listen to kind0 events and pick up Nostr activity and basically search for Lightning addresses that are being shared publicly across Nostr. So I can compile a big list of Lightning addresses. Great. So now I've got my list of pub keys and I've got a big list of Lightning addresses. I'm armed with all the information I need to basically be a Nigerian prince scammer to send a whole bunch of messages out to a ton of different people, right? There's a ton of legitimate companies who do email list aggregations to do leads for direct targeted marketing, but that really hasn't been done with the Lightning Network yet. So I'm armed with a big list to send out some payments. Great, but how do I actually attach this desired message in each one of these payments? So we're going to jump to a quick little technical meat and potatoes of this presentation. So let's start with Lightning address. I take a Lightning address and I go to what's called the well-known URL. I do this from code, but I'm showing it in the browser because it loads just the same. And they return back some useful information that I need. The comment allowed field that you see about halfway down is the first piece that I know. If that is a value that they provide, it means that Lightning address is capable of having this memo field. It means they support the message that I'm going to want to send. There's also this min sendable field. It means they won't accept any payment under, in this case, 1,000 MSATs. And then there's this callback URL. So given this is a Lightning address for striped bail 97 at walletsatoshi.com. And I'll take that callback URL and I'll make another request. I'll append on an amount that I want to pay, which is the Satogram amount, and then this comment of hello world. And they return back an invoice that I can now pay. So we've done a way to do a push payment with LNURL through these two GET requests. All right, now let's talk key send. A little bit more piece of work. However, what we're looking at here is this is some LN CLI code. This is Golang, and we're looking at the actual structure of a payment request. There's something called a custom records field, and what that allows you to do is add more or less arbitrary data inside a Lightning payment. So inside this HTLC, there's a whole bunch, there's a big list of these fields. You can see they're numbered here, and they look like arbitrary numbers. People can pick and choose what they are. The popularly accepted one for key send messaging is 34349334. So that's where I kind of slip in the message that I want to be included in this Satogram. So there's actually a repository online. It is not part of the Lightning spec, but this is what's commonly used. So if you receive a Lightning payment and you look in the custom records, these are the possible ones that are being used and what they're being used for. So 34349334 being the popular one used for messaging, but there's a field 678999812 that I'm using. And this is a new field that I've added. And what I'm adding in there is actually a unique identifier. So if you receive a payment and you parse through and you looked for these custom record fields and you saw 678999812, you can definitively say that is a Satogram that they're sending. And what I put in that field is an identifier. So if I'm sending it to a node, I'm going to put their pub key in that field. If it's a Lightning address, I'm going to include their Lightning address. It's simply just a way so that wallets can say, hey, this is a Satogram versus any other old payment. You may recognize that number, 678999812, from the 2008 hit, Kiss Me Through the Phone from Soulja Boy. That's his phone number. Call it sometime. All right, why do we need this field? Why do we need this unique identifier field? Why does it really matter? Well, without it, everything just looks like a regular old Lightning payment. Wallet of Satoshi, I got them to be on board, and I said, hey guys, if you take every payment that I send to your node and you parse through the custom records and you see 678999812, feature it as a Satogram. And if you do that, I'll give you 30% of the sats. You can take 30% of the sats you were going to give to the user. So we worked out an actual business arrangement. So on the left, what I'm showing is a payment that a Wallet Satoshi user receives when it's done with LNURL. It just looks like any payment. At the bottom, it's got the note that I've included with it. Hello, adopting Bitcoin. I sent these out last night. You may even have this in your own Wallet Satoshi wallet and not even realize it. On the right is when I send it as a Satogram. And you can see that they recognized it and they feature it with a little money bag and it says paid Satogram advertisement and then the message that was sent with that one. They did add a minimum threshold that a Satogram has to be a 10 sat minimum and that they're taking 30% on that. That's just how they implemented it. Any wallet can do it any way they want, and this is kind of a new revenue stream for any wallet right now. So let's talk a la carte offerings. So, right, they were just featuring that it's a Satogram, and a notification comes with that, which is great, so the user sees that the payment came in. But there's a whole bunch of different things a wallet can do once they want to feature a Satogram, once they recognize it. They can make links clickable. I can embed images in there that they can then go grab from the internet. They could feature it in notifications in different way, right? The user experience we make out of a Satogram can become a marketer's dream. No longer is everything just a piece of spam mail that goes away in some inbox. For different amounts of fees that the wallet wants to charge based on this kind of menu of offerings, we can have a spec with Satograms to feature Satograms in different ways. So here's just an example of how it's featured on Strike right now. If you send them one, they're sending, for one sat, I'm putting a message in front of somebody's face. I mean, that is the cheapest form of direct-to-consumer marketing as far as I know. So if, I don't know, if I wanted to message 100 million people, what does that cost? 1 Bitcoin plus network fees? So for what, 35,000 people, I can reach 100 million people? I mean, that's tremendous reach for incredible value. All right, some people want the spam, right? They're getting free sats. Fine, they'll bear with the message. That's acceptable, right? If you got paid for every piece of spam mail you got in your inbox, you wouldn't feel so bad about it. However, some people don't want it, and that's fine. So wallets, right, they can identify what is and what is not a Satogram based on the custom record field, and they can hide them. They can put them in a designated Satogram folder if they want. Or maybe the user sets a toggle that says, don't show me any Satograms under 100 sats. They can customize that. Or they can even get removed from the list. So what have we really built here? What is this? We've got a direct-to-consumer messaging product that's incredibly cheap to use compared to traditional marketing mediums. Everything's done with native Lightning, right? I don't need any new opcodes. I'm using everything that's built into Lightning with a new custom record field. And on the wallet side, to implement this, it's incredibly low effort. All they do is have to recognize this field and then make decisions on what they want to do on the business logic side of that. Wallet Satoshi did this in 2 days. And a mechanism to increase our Lightning address list. So going back to, I need a big list of Lightning addresses to send to. Imagine if on the wallet, there was just a toggle that says, hey, opt me into Satograms. And when they flick that switch, it sends the Satogram service their Lightning address. Basically, they opt into a sharing, and now they're on the list, and they can receive Satograms going forward. That's how we can increase the reach of Lightning addresses, right? Because Wallet Satoshi is not just going to give me their whole user list. Totally understand that. But if the users have the chance to opt in, it's beneficial for everyone. Wallet Satoshi earns more in fees, the users get paid, the marketer can reach more people, incentives are aligned all around. What do we have here? Every Lightning wallet is a billboard. People are walking around with billboards in their pocket that it's just not being used right now. Put your message here. So incentives, like I was just mentioning, it's very cheap to use. The service right now that I'm running takes a 10% fee. The wallet providers who implement this can charge whatever fees they want as of right now. And at the end of the day, the recipient of the Satogram is getting paid. Everyone's a winner here. And it's a new revenue stream specifically for wallet providers. All right, what are the implications of this? Let's go back to Cash App. We got Cynthia here, one Mama O. Well, she's just a user. Maybe she doesn't even know she has a Lightning wallet. There's 100 million Cash App users out there walking around every day with a Lightning wallet in their pocket that they don't even know they don't. That they don't even know that they have, right? If tomorrow morning I had a list of all the Cash App users and they implemented the same way that Wallet Satoshi did, right? They just look for that new 678-999-8212 field. Tomorrow morning we could have a Satogram in everyone's pocket and overnight have the greatest orange pilling campaign of all time. Right? We could reach millions of people with one sat overnight with a notification that says, I don't know, welcome to Bitcoin, this is your first sat, something like that. So the reach for this when it comes to Cash App is tremendous. So it's a little small with, I guess, Lightning wallets now, but this goes beyond people that are even Bitcoiners right now. This is just a basic layout of what the website's like. I'm not a front-end designer. It's not the best UX. It's very much under work. I've got a few of the fellas on the team that are working on this. More or less, you kind of build your Satogram. You specify how much you want it to be. You don't have to reach the whole network if you don't want to. And then there's even some stats. So when you kick one off, you can see how many have been sent, how many have failed, how many succeeded. Oh, and I actually want to feature, if you go to the website at the top here, where it says want Satograms, you can enter your Lightning address or your pub key and start receiving them today. So if you're not already receiving them, go to the site, plug your address in, and you'll start getting free sats from every Satogram that gets sent out. And I leave you with this question. Is it really spam if I pay you. So a couple shout outs to the guys who are working on this, and then Alex Bosworth, who with his Balance of Satoshi tool had the Boz advertise command. He's kind of the originator of messaging everyone on the Lightning Network. Satograms just has championed it to a whole new level. So thanks for having me again this year. Go to satogram.xyz, get signed up, start sending messages to the Lightning Network. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bob. An absolutely killer presentation. If you told me when you started that I would love spam by the end of it, I wouldn't have believed you, but here we are.
Do we have time for any questions?
We can do one. No pressure.
Buzz?
That's so cool.
He wants to invest in your company. Go get him.
Thanks, man. Send a Satogram out.
Okay, thank you so much, Bob.
Thank you.
Give him a hand.